Welcome on into the Wolverine recruiting show. Clayton Safey here with EJ Holland and Tim Verghese here on our YouTube channel, which you can subscribe to, like the video, as well as check us out at thewolverine.com. As always, right now running the $1 deal for an entire year. This is the perfect week to do it with Michigan and Ohio State coming up on Saturday. And with that, plenty of recruiting storylines. So we're going to throw it around to each of these guys on some areas of expertise, some scoop they have ahead of this weekend. So we'll start with you, EJ. Why this weekend is so big with some specific targets, because Michigan bringing in guys from all around the country for the biggest weekend of the year.
Yeah, definitely. Michigan's going to have a couple of big official visitors, some key unofficial visitors, a ton of underclassmen coming in. So it's going to be an absolutely massive weekend. Some of the key storylines I'm looking forward to: Michigan's bringing in two top 60 players nationally, two defensive backs from the great state of California in Damani Jackson and Zeke Berry. Obviously, we've talked about a ton about Damani Jackson, consensus 5-star out of Powerhouse Modern Day in Southern California. I think, with Damani, there was a lot of debate. Is he coming in? Is he not coming in? He, as of right now, as we are recording this video, is scheduled to make his way to Michigan. This will be his second visit of the fall. He was on campus for the game against Washington, and Michigan seemed to be building some momentum until he made an official visit to Alabama, and Alabama seems to have the edge heading into this weekend. However, Michigan has its chance to make its point. If it beats Ohio State, if it makes a really good NIL pitch, which has become an increasing factor in Jackson's recruitment, I think that Michigan has a real chance to land him. There's a reason he's making his way back to Ann Arbor. The relationships are there. He's grown close to Coach Clinkscale and Coach Harbaugh. And I feel like he also has a really good relationship with Courtney Morgan, who has strong ties out west. On top of that, I think that obviously the friendship with Will Johnson is big as well. Those two have been talking. I spoke to Will yesterday. He's really excited to show Damani around yet again. And then on the flip side of the coin, Zeke Berry's a guy we need to talk a lot about. He's from Northern California, out of Powerhouse De La Salle. Oregon right now probably has the edge, but confidence is growing at Michigan. They feel as if a strong visit could really put them in the pole position. And I love Zeke Berry. I flew out to San Francisco earlier this year, and he's such an athletic, compact defensive back that you can do a lot with in the secondary. About 6 foot, 190 pounds, can play corner, safety, nickel. Michigan likes him more as a nickel safety. So landing one or both of those guys would be absolutely, a monster haul to couple with the DBs already committed, like Will, Miles Pollard, Cody Jones, Damani Dent. So, those two are two of the more important visitors this weekend. Sticking with the 2022 class, Michigan recently getting back in the mix with Keontae Goodwin, 5-star offensive lineman out of Indiana. I don't think Michigan has as good of a chance with Goodwin, but it is interesting that he is making his way to campus. He's currently committed to Kentucky, considering some top programs around the country. We'll see if Michigan can create any movement there. Steve Clinkscale has a prior relationship with him and those around him, but very noteworthy that another 5-star will be on campus. But again, not super high expectations, but really looking forward to seeing if Michigan can build any type of momentum. And looking ahead at 2023, the guy that really sticks out to me on this list is Luke Montgomery, top 100 prospect nationally out of Findlay, Ohio, which is actually right in between Ann Arbor and Columbus. They kind of grew up, or he and his brother, who's a 2025 quarterback that already has a Michigan offer, they kind of grew up around the rivalry on both sides, just being kind of smack in the middle of the two cities. So they're really looking forward to getting on campus. Luke is a priority target for Michigan. He was on campus this summer, and he's really looking forward to getting back for the game. It's really kind of a head-to-head with Michigan and Ohio State right now. There are some other schools that are involved in like Clemson and Notre Dame, but overall, I feel like this one is more head-to-head Michigan, Ohio State. And you saw Michigan win the head-to-head here recently with 2022 linebacker Jimmy Rolder, so it's not impossible to beat the Buckeyes on the recruiting trail. I do feel like a win on the field would go a long way in maybe pulling Luke Montgomery out of Ohio.
Yeah, man, a win on the field, something they've been starving for in this rivalry that could flip things. You're just kind of waiting for that one time. It almost happened a couple times under Jim Harbaugh here. Could happen this weekend. Tim, we'll throw it to you. What are your top storylines that you're going to be watching based on, kind of what you've been hearing and some guys coming into town?
Yeah. So for me, the biggest thing is going to be 2022 defensive or edge rusher Ethan Burke from Austin Westlake down in Texas. He was offered just 2 weeks ago personally by Jim Harbaugh. He's one of the fastest rising senior prospects in the country. Just recently was ranked a 4-star on the most recent On3 rankings. He stands 6'7". Is a Maryland commit for lacrosse, but Michigan's the only school offering him in lacrosse and football outside of Army. Some of the other schools that have offered him in football, like Baylor and Utah and Kansas State, don't really have lacrosse programs that are as serious as Michigan and some of the other Big Ten programs. So it's a pretty big deal. He's eyeing to sign in February and kind of play this process out, especially because he's only recently gotten some offers. But I think the environment of the big house, Ann Arbor tends to sell itself, especially for guys that have never been before. So I think if the visit goes as well as Michigan expects it to, I think you could see some quick movement, potentially even a commitment before the end of the weekend. That's another. I guess the overall bigger storyline I'm watching is going to be potential commitments in 2022. I think Burke's one to watch. The aforementioned Zeke Berry, like EJ said, is one to watch. And then two I'm looking at is Samaj Morgan and Amir Herring, two 2023 prospects from West Bloomfield out in Michigan. It's the school where Ron Bellamy was formerly the head coach. Now he's a safeties coach at Michigan. So Michigan's got a tie. Samaj and Amir have both visited Michigan multiple times. I think Michigan's probably in a better spot with Samaj right now than Amir. But you could see both of those guys kind of decide to shut things down after the weekend, pending results on the field and, pending an overall how the visit goes for both of those guys.
Yeah, no doubt. Those guys have been to Michigan so often that the fans are constantly, every time they talk about their time at Michigan, they talk about how the fans know exactly who they are, and everything like that. EJ, any final thoughts heading into Michigan, Ohio State from a recruiting standpoint?
I think that kind of covers the ground a little bit from an overall picture. Make sure to subscribe to the Wolverine right now. You still can get 1 year for $1. And it's going to be a massive weekend, and Michigan pulls out the victory. You could see some wins on the recruiting trail as well.
And you will be in town, I believe, for the game.
Yes, we'll be in town for the game, so it should be a ton of fun.
And EJ's undefeated at Michigan games that many people have said. Sources tell me that you're 2-0 at the Big House, so there you have it. Like EJ said, stick with us at thewolverine.com. $1 gets you an entire year of all of our premium content, so we'll see everybody over there.